Aloha. This is Trinidad the Island Man, your Island Man, coming to you live once again from beautiful Hawaii. Once again, you can't tell that I'm here on the island of Oahu, being stuck in my little tiny apartment. And the only reason I'm stuck is that still got my coffee here. Basically, there's no movies at the movie theater that I want to go see. I might go see Doctor Strange once again today. That'll be number 3, the third time that I've seen it. Tomorrow is going to be Star Trek The Motion Picture, which I had seen originally back in, when was it? 1979, I believe, when it first came out. But this is supposed to be the 4K restored version. I don't know if I'll do a review of it. You know, it's such an old movie. But I'll go ahead and, I'll decide that tomorrow. But I'm trying to get caught up on some of these trailer reactions. Netflix is killing it right now, as they are being killed, I guess, in the stock market. But, to be fair, everybody is getting killed in the stock market. But on the bright side, it's not crypto. So it's not that bad. Or it's not as bad as it could be. So I mean, to be fair, the fall of Netflix is basically the fall of everybody right now, with inflation killing the stock market, along with the supply shortages and the Ukraine war going on. And everybody taking a wait and see approach. But I digress. Netflix still putting out some great stuff coming out, especially in June. The Umbrella Academy, Season 3, finally, after knocking it out of the park with Season 1 and Season 2, this brings a misfit group of, youngsters, about most of them in their 20s. I guess number 5 is a kid, although he's a senior citizen kid. You'd have to watch the first season and, to know what that means, as he's time traveled. And he lived out all of his life, but then he time traveled back in time, reverting to a younger age, but still keeping his senior citizen mentality, basically, and all his experience and knowledge along with that. So although he is technically the eldest of the group, he is also the youngest member now. Basically this is kind of a take on X-Men for those of you who do not or are not familiar with the Umbrella Academy. And essentially this is the X-Men done right. All of them with their own personal angst and, feelings of inadequacy, trying to live up to the potential that their father, Sir Reginald Hargrave, basically the Professor X of the group, who brought them together as children, born with incredible powers, all of them. And he brought them together to save the world, essentially, and to train them to use their powers. Again, like I said, very X-Men-y, and I loved Season 1. It was not my first experience with the Umbrella Academy. I stumbled into the Kailua Library, where I picked up the graphic novel that basically was used for Season 1, and I was surprised at how good it was. Both the graphic novel and the Netflix series, and how much, how much they pretty much play for play took from the graphic novel, from the comic, for Season 1. Budget restrictions, of course, they did not show a lot of the cataclysm that occurs at the end, or some of the fight scenes, just the aftermath of the fight scenes, that everybody, everyone in the group is dead, essentially, at some point in the future. That's what number 5 realizes once he time travels to the future and he finds everyone dead. When he returns in an attempt to stop it and help his family survive, they are pretty much disbanded with the death of their father, Sir Reginald Hardgrave. And each member has basically gone out on their own, hoping to live out, some of them normal lives, some continuing to fight crime in their own ways. Diego becomes a vigilante, essentially, always kind of pushing the boundaries within the group when he was younger. And Allison basically becomes a star, leaving the superhero life behind her. Vanya is going to be Vanya was the villain, or became one of the villains, the main antagonist in the graphic novel and season 1, as if you hadn't watched it, very much like the comic. And her power level and scale vary again like the comic. I was not prepared for how incredible season 2 was. Everyone, in an attempt to escape this cataclysm at the end of season 1, that they are left on this cliffhanger, moves back into time, into the 60s. President John F. Kennedy's timeline, essentially. And some of them move to prevent his assassination. Diego, being, one of those vigilantes out for justice always, says, I am here to go ahead and stop this. But they find out that it is Vanya who is behind the reason for, much of the destruction of season 2, and they have to prevent that. The first episode of season 2 basically shows an World War III about to break out back, due to both the Cuban Missile Crisis, but also some type of Russian invasion upon United States soil. Very Red Dawn-like, very Ukrainian-like nowadays. Very apropos to today's events in the world. And season 3, I have not watched this trailer, so we're going to go ahead and watch it together. But at the end of season 2, we had seen them return back to the present after mucking up and around time and thinking that they had everything straightened out before they left and returned to their own timeline. They ended up, of course, altering the timeline. And so when they return, they find that their father, Sir Reginald Hardgrave, is alive in their house, and they are so happy to have him back, to be in their home. But then they discover it's not their home anymore, as they never existed apparently in this timeline, and a new group of superpowered individuals being raised by Sir Reginald Hardgrave, not the Umbrella Academy, but called the Sparrow Academy, for some reason, which I'm sure will be revealed in season 3, possibly in this trailer. We'll go ahead and find out now as we're going to ahead and watch it for the first time. This came out 2-3 days ago, so I'm a little behind, but this is going to be my reaction. So here we go. 1, 2, and 3. Okay, it's starting up. Loading. My internet's a little slow.
This isn't your home.
Ooh.
What are you talking about? This isn't your home.
What are you talking about? This is the Umbrella Academy.
This is the Sparrow Academy. This is the Sparrow Academy.
See, the Sparrow.
When we jumped here, we created a time paradox.
Our little paradox brought forth a freaking
Okay,
Google
so
Blitz.
they
What
come
the
face
hell
to
is
face with the
Google
Sparrow
Blitz?
Academy.
Essentially, we're screwed.
A cougar bear. Okay, there's Ellen Page, as she still was in this time.
Everybody else can see Ben, right?
Okay,
Yeah,
so
and
they
he's a
have to
big
fight the
dickhead.
Sparrow Academy. So they're not going to accept the Umbrella Academy.
Next person to say dickhead is getting punched
Okay,
to the
and
throat.
Ben's alive, as we found at the end of season 2.
We caused a paradox, and that paradox is swallowing
But he's
things.
the sparrow. Kid.
4, maybe 5 days before the rest of existence is blitzed.
Not to mention, we've been replaced
Okay,
by a
so
bunch
that's
of
Ellen
wasps and
Page, so-
cubes and birds and shit.
During this filming,
was good,
she
but I
was
don't think
already
you're better than me.
taking
I
on the
am
persona
the
of a man
world twice,
in real life.
and you're just
Ellen
reading
Page
spandex.
becoming Elliot Page.
Dad didn't adopt us as babies, but those
okay.
babies still existed here. So, if you ever see your other self,
Okay.
avoid
So
them.
she's still a woman in this one. She had done some transgender surgery. I'm so much. I'm sorry. Climb Luther now. Okay.
If I killed you, do we get our
Okay,
gun
looks
back?
good.
What the hell did you just say?
Okay, great music still.
What are you, their mascot?
More like their
Okay,
ring.
so it looks like they're going to be facing off against one another.
Looking for you.
Okay.
Spoiler alert.
I'm feeling this.
Spoiler alert.
Oh, the monkey is alive again. Okay. All right. Wow. Wow. Gosh, I don't know what to say about that. It does look exciting. Doesn't really reveal too much. Should I say? I guess. It doesn't reveal anything more than what season 2 had left us with. That they find themselves directly up against the Sparrow Academy, this new version of the Umbrella Academy in this timeline. Ben, as we found out, who originally had died young in the Umbrella Academy's history in the normal timeline, followed Klaus as a ghost, as one of his powers is that he can see dead people and interact with them, and later on channel their powers through him. We find him alive in the Sparrow Academy. And for some reason they're at odds with one another, which makes sense. I mean, the Umbrella Academy is nothing if not a little abrasive at times, and apparently the Sparrow Academy is somewhat similar. So if Reginald Hargrave is not going to immediately vouch for these individuals and give them the okay to be there, then they're going to be taken as a threat, as the Sparrow Academy has no idea who these guys are. It was distracting. This is my reaction, so that's my reaction to the trailer, and I was distracted by Ellen Page, the beautiful actress that she was, even in the X-Men. Some other films, I liked her. I guess she was in Juno, I think, too. I never saw Juno. But I appreciated her as an actress. I knew of her talent in multiple films. And I was struck by the beautiful relationship that she had had with one of the, was it a stunt coordinator? I think somebody she had met on the show, behind the scenes, I think. There was a woman, and they had gotten into a relationship, as she had come out as being gay in the past. And, and during some of the pandemic, or even before that, with season 2, there had been some shots of her, doing some dancing with her partner, this woman, who was also a dance choreographer, I think, or a dancer. And she was doing, they looked very happy. Let me just say that. But then afterwards, a few months afterwards, or almost a year afterwards, sometime during the COVID situation, Ellen Page took it to the next level and, did her transgender surgery to become fully a man. And she is now known as Elliot Page. He is known as Elliot Page. All right, I'm an old man. I'm not well versed on the new lingos for things. I have no stake in this at all, so it doesn't affect me. I'm saddened that Vanya, because Vanya was a woman in the comic. She had done such wonderful work with Vanya. She seemed happy as a female, Ellen Page, especially with this relationship. But apparently they broke up. Is it because of her decision to go fully reverse her gender into a male, become Elliot Page and embrace that? Possibly. But, you can take from that what you will. But honestly, it is a little jarring to know that and watch her in this, because there are some shots of this where it appears that she is, that she is still Ellen Page in this. And then there are shots later, I think, that make it appear that he has become Elliot Page. And when I got that news, it's like, oh, okay, well, there was time travel and all that stuff. So at some point, and I think they've already been greenlit for season 4 from Netflix, that they are going to go ahead and basically make, Vanya the man that Elliot Page is now. And through the use of time travel and the timelines, that's becomes quite easy to do. What that means for the rest of the show, for season 2, I don't think it will really reflect it too much. But again, it is a distraction, as you saw my reaction during the trailer. Whenever in this, she is still a she. Although I think maybe she had used some different language at that time. I'm not sure. But she was still Ellen Page during the filming, or at least most of the filming of this. There are some shots of an individual, a boyish-looking individual, that could have easily been where she had cut her hair in, preparations for the transgender surgery and such, and her transition to full male persona of Elliot Page, whereas before he had not done the surgery yet, but she was never big chested, so you really couldn't tell outside of her hair, which was always long, but now short. And with the surgery, Elliot Page is a full man now. And I guess that's totally distracting to me. Will it affect her? Will it affect his performance in this? Probably not. Elliot Page might be a man now, but the acting ability will still be firm, I believe. But as you can tell, it's already taken up much of this conversation about the reaction to the trailer, and it's no longer, I find, a reaction to the trailer itself, but a reaction to what we know about Elliot Page now and how that will affect the show, and questions about that. Ultimately, it shouldn't affect the show at all. With the timey-wimey stuff of it, there is a way to, easily explain any gender change with Vanya, the character. in season 4. So, so there it is. Am I really excited for this? Yes. I loved season 1. I loved season 2. Vanya was one of my favorite characters. All of these guys were my favorite. You were some of my favorite characters. You can't go, and watch the show without being a big fan of, number 5, who is basically the mover and shaker of this whole series with his time travel and teleportation abilities. But Luther and Diego are both the heart and the soul of this. Allison, had a very rich storyline being back in the 60s, being a black female. And for a little bit of time without her powers of mind control, basically, making people do whatever she wants them to by speaking, which was very, very interesting. And even Klaus had a big development arc. Ben had a big development arc in season 2. Basically, everybody had come back to a point of family and togetherness, working out all of their issues, and were ready to set all of this nonsense behind them, moving back to the future, hoping things had resolved in the timeline. And now they are confronted with basically doppelgangers of themselves. Great news that their father is still alive, but he's not their father because he's the father of the Sparrow Academy kids in this version of the timeline. So how are they going to flesh all this out? I am very intrigued and I look forward to this. I think it comes in around the end week of June or so for the Umbrella Academy season 3, and I cannot wait. Confusion about Elliot Page and curiosity of how they will handle that in the future aside, it still intrigues me immensely. Yes, about the storyline, and yes, about him. All right. So, strong shock, a thumbs up for the Umbrella Academy Season 3 trailer, and the show, I'm sure, is going to be great. I've reviewed Season 1 and 2 way back on my channel when they came out. Due to COVID, we've been waiting forever for Season 3, and I can't wait. All right. Mahalo and aloha.